Just a few more flips of the pan, and these mussels will turn out superb. Hey, how's it going? Hang on a sec while I finish readying my great banquet. But please join me in my preparation. Mussels go great with just a bit of butter and a zest of lemon. You know,
Through the tutorials, you will familiarize yourself with the basic aspects of running your You can also hold your left mouse button on the tutorial window and drag the tutorial box anywhere on the screen. Go ahead and give it a try, and then left-click on the Next button to proceed. Since this is your first taste of becoming a restaurateur, we will start easy and work our way up the... You are currently in the city view. You can zip around the city by moving the mouse to the screen edges or by using the arrow keys on your keyboard. Go on, take a look around Gay Paris. Left-click on the next button to continue. You can also look at the city from different angles and perspectives. Hold down to zoom in or out of the city. Hold the right mouse button and press the Shift key. Then move the mouse away from you or move the mouse towards you to view the city up close or from a distance. If you have a newer mouse with a scroll wheel, you can also spin the wheel forward or back to zoom in and out. Left-click on the Next button. While we're at it, let's look at some items on the top menu bar. Next is the profit indicator. Now let's go into your restaurant. The area indicated by the arrows is the restaurant indicator. Once you start owning more, this is the interior view of your restaurant. You can also double-click on any restaurant that you own to enter. Give it a try. If you are ever doubtful about a button's function, simply mouse over the button or an interface element. Your customers like to look at interesting objects while eating. Decoration adds ambiance to the dining experience, so let's make your restaurant more attractive. Left-click. These are the main categories of items that you may place in your restaurants. There are seating arrangements, there are wall-mounted, floor-mounted, and tabletop-mounted subcategories. For now, let's focus on wall-mounted items. The button is already highlighted in yellow. Left-click on the Next button when you are ready for the next step. All decoration items have at least one attribute, and at most two. Some increase a restaurant's comfort rating, while others may increase the decoration rating of your restaurant. These are indicated by their corresponding attribute bars. Higher rated attributes are desirable traits, and the higher their ratings, the more they will benefit your restaurant's ratings. Choose an item to place in your restaurant now by left-clicking on an item thumbnail. Now drag the object in hand onto the restaurant floor. Do you see a colored box below the item? That's the item's bounding box, the physical space. While you're at it, place a few more items on the walls. When you feel you've got the hang of it, left-click on the next button. Good going! Now that there are a few more items placed on your placing items on a restaurant floor is similar to mounting items on walls. Pick a few items that catch your fancy, then place them on the restaurant floor. When you are satisfied with the amount of decoration you have in your restaurant, left-click on the next button to continue. You are obviously a quick learner. Remember, whenever you need help, you can seek me out. Simply left-click on the Adventure Mode button at the bottom. Well done, Armand! Below the menu is the Food Menu interface. You will notice that the Food Menu interface has been swapped with the Recipes interface. The repository below the Food Course buttons is a recipe pane of the recipe currently viewed, as well as its name. The recipe pane also has two round arrow buttons that can be used to go forward and back through your list of recipes. In this case, the main courses. Go ahead, try it now. Left-click on the arrow buttons to cycle through your available recipes. When you're done, left-click on the next button. Notice the flag icons at the end of each recipe. Now, instead of flipping through the list one by one using the arrow buttons, let's bring up the drop-down list. Simply left-click anywhere in the recipe name display. Give it a try. You will be able to view several recipes at the same time. You can also use the scroll bar to go up and down your list. Why don't you choose a recipe now? Simply left-click on a recipe. To see your new recipe on the menu, left-click on. Now you're back in the food menu interface. The difference being we have added a recipe. Now at least customers can order. Make sure you are viewing the food menu interface for this next step. Notice on the food menu how arrow buttons appear on the bottom corners of the menu pages. Use these buttons. So far, so good. Now that you understand the base, a pop-up with a list of hot and cold beverages will appear. The cold beverages are further divided into alcoholic. In case you haven't noticed, I'd like to give you a word. Let's tart up the menu design. There are 3 things you can do to alter your menu's appearance. You can change the title font, the text font. You can also left-click on the text font and the background buttons to change your restaurant menu's appearance. Design your menu until you have customized its appearance to your liking and to your restaurant's suiting. When you are done, left-click on the next button to continue. There's only a bit more to go. If you ever want to view specifics regarding any recipe in your menu, simply double-click on the recipe name and you will be brought back to notice the default price on the recipe menu, which is your restaurant's selling price for that recipe. When you are ready, left-click on the next button to continue. The last thing I want to go over with you is on the food menu interface. If you ever want to get rid of a recipe from the menu, say due to poor sales, then highlight the recipe in mind by left-clicking on. Excellent! You are becoming. You have added decoration and placed recipes on the menu. But who's going to take? Apart from your name, the staff list is on. Notice how the interface now displays quite a bit of information. Let's break this information down into digestible chunks, shall we? Let's start from the top of the interface and work our way down. Notice the two round buttons on the top of the interface. One depicts a chef and another depicts a waiter. Any restaurant needs at least a chef to prepare the recipes, a captain for taking orders, a server to, well, serve the food, and a receptionist to show the customers to their seats. Oh, and I almost forgot. You need to hire a kitchen porter to wash the dishes. Go ahead and hire all these posts. No need to hire a chef when you've got your trusting self to work the kitchen. Once you are done hiring, left-click on the Next button to continue. A word on receptionists. They can only carry out their duties effectively if they have a reception desk handy. You can find a reception desk in the interior panel. You remember how to place items to equip and decorate your restaurant, right? Now place a reception desk near the entrance of your restaurant. We will continue with training afterwards. This is also the ideal time to explain to you. To delete an item, left-click on the Delete Item button. Then double-click on the item you want to remove from your restaurant's premises. Left-click on the Next button to continue. Good. Now let's go back to the staff panel and see what some of the... Let's start with the list mode. Notice the two small icons to the... Now you're back in the detailed view. Most of the buttons are now available. You should already be familiar with the first two buttons. The other buttons are Raise or Lower Salary, Transfer Staff, and Fire Staff. These buttons are relatively easy to understand. I'll let you play with these at your leisure. When you are done familiarizing yourself with these buttons, left-click on the Next button to Good going! You're just about... Now, just be patient and customers are bound to come in. If you are impatient, you can always accelerate the game's speed by left-clicking. The round button to the left of the speed buttons is the Pause Resume Game toggle. Left-click the button to first pause, then left-click again to resume the game. There's something you should know about the speed settings, and now I'd like to explain to you about the Information Center interface. Looking at the column of buttons, we can now take a look at the top row of buttons. There are, from left to right, the restaurant ratings, sales report, statistics, income statements, financial graphs, and complaints buttons. Click on each one and familiarize yourself with the different types of information displayed. Now go back to the Restaurant Ratings button. This indicates how well your restaurant is faring in each rating category. Pay special attention. When you're ready to move on, left-click on the Goal button to continue. As you can see, the top row of buttons now displays the games. Wow, all this restaurant managing has got me really hungry, Armand.
Aber hier bestämmer.